December 2nd or 3rd here in the greenhouse. I rarely get out here with the camera in the daytime, but thought I'd just get a quick clip. Our thermal regulations doing really well with the new heat bank system and all. I'll show you that later. Gonna take a Meyer lemon over to my friend John, who's helped me out in so many ways. So I think the least I could do is take him a lemon. I just want to get a shot of these before I picked another one off. And there's more flowers coming on this plant. And I know I saw other small lemons, yeah, growing on it. So hopefully that'll continue to do well now that we have better temps in here. Alright, just a quick clip. I had 5 relays lit up all at once. Ah, shucks. Well, so I got the stove throttled up. Let you look at the chart here quick. Writing some changes into the thermal management script here for managing the thermal mass. Long story short, I got the stove throttled up at 2.2. It's cranking, and we're making a ton of heat. And I'm just testing out how fast I can take heat off the top of the stove, sequester it into this tank as a thermal mass, and also charge these barrels up with heat, as well as warm up the whole bed underneath the plants here that is under the wood chips. So just kind of playing around testing, but I thought I would share it. Also, while I was in here, I did some watering and a little bit of plant care today. And I moved around. I had these 2 LED lights that were given to me. They were down over here by the turmeric, and they were kind of blocking some of the turmeric light. So I moved them to more appropriate locations to help bolster light energy for the figs and the more tropical plants in here, as well as the Meyer lemon, which is continuing to bloom out and seems to be quite happy now. And there's new lemons coming on it. All about. And there's still one ripe one left to harvest. I don't know if you can see that. I can't even see the camera. But yeah, so I just moved the LEDs out and set them up. So I just thought I would share that as well. Got some good lighting over the ginger. It is nice and toasty in here now, running the stove up with some actual heat production. It's tropical in here. I'm in a jacket and I'm going to be sweating in another couple of minutes. So I guess I should mention the buzzing you're hearing. It's just the pumps that are on, and it's coming over the audio amplifier through the speakers. So if I turn the audio amplifier off, you don't hear all that noise. That is a really annoying sound. I need to do some work on my wiring to suppress noise, probably some ferrite beads, and maybe a few other things. Anyway, so I rewrote the script, including a bunch of different factors, and I'll probably go over those in another video because it's kind of complicated, and I want to see how the new setup works before I, go showing it off as working well. But so far so good. We're making lots of heat. You can see where the secondary thermal mass tank, its temperature has fluctuated up and down as the secondary pump is kicked on and pumped heat through the barrels 1 and 2. You can see the first barrel showing quite a rise in temperature as a result of all that pumping, and barrel 2 starting to. And let's see, we have coil temp out here somewhere too. I don't know where that is. I think that might be the blue line. No, that's the tan line here. Is coil temperature out of the barrels there. I guess I'll just show you that in case you haven't been watching my other videos. So that's the temp sensor that's right here on this valve, and that one's still like room temp. This one's got a good amount of warm water in it. Yeah, and of course this one is steaming regularly with lots of heat being dumped. And also, of course, dumping humidity into the greenhouse, which keeps the temperature and environment in here, very conducive to plant growth. So that is awesome. That means our upgrades are really taking a positive effect. Yeah, well, so the other thing I was going to show you when those relays were all on was I've got the stove cranked up so hot and it's so warm in here that I have a constant cooling fan that's on the Raspberry Pi, the little one. Above that, there's a bigger one, much higher CFM. That thing will generate a wind over the Pi. And there's also an airflow fan for the box if I ever get it, the project complete and closed up. That would exchange cool air through the box to make sure that everything stays cool. But so those are all driven off of processor temperature, and I forget what the set limits are, but I looked at the specs in the processor and set below that so that we escalate airflow as processor temperature climbs to maintain a steady temperature. And of course, every minute, along with the rest of the data log, I'm logging the temperature of the processor, how much RAM is in use, what the CPU usage is. All those actual hardware stats are being logged as well into my database, so that if I have a crash later on, I can still go back and look at the database and see what was going on before the crash happened. So that's a very valuable history tool to have. Anyway, I just thought I would talk a little bit more about the Raspberry Pi controller for the greenhouse here as I continue to refine things and dial in code and tweak settings. Alright, I hope you found this interesting or informative, and I hope you'll like or subscribe if you're not, and thanks for watching the Pharmacy Seeds Network.